The spaceship tore through the Earth's atmosphere, a fiery streak across the night sky. It crashed in the desert, a beacon to those who searched the stars. She was the sole survivor, an alien with skin like moonlight and eyes like distant galaxies. She looked human almost, except for the faint shimmer beneath her skin, the way her eyes seemed to hold the depths of space. She was injured, scared, alone. She needed help. She found him. Daniel was a man of routine. He liked his books, his quiet desert town, his predictable life. One night, everything changed. He was driving home when he saw the light, a pulsing glow on the horizon. Curiosity piqued. He drove towards it. He wasn't prepared for what he found. The wreckage, the alien girl. She was ethereal, beautiful, and utterly out of place. He knew he had to help her. She spoke no English, yet they found ways to communicate. Gestures, drawings in the sand, the universal language of kindness. He named her Luna, for the moon that seemed to follow her wherever she went. Days turned into weeks. He kept her hidden, protected. He learned about her planet, her people, the danger that followed her to Earth. A bond formed between them, unbreakable, built on trust and understanding. It started subtly. Strange men in town asking questions, government agents, their eyes sharp, their smiles too practiced. They were looking for Luna, and they wouldn't stop until they found her. Daniel knew the risks. He had seen the fear in Luna's eyes when she spoke of the hunters, the ones who sought to exploit her kind. He vowed to protect her, no matter the cost. Section 5. The chase begins. The peace was shattered one night. The agents found them. Their quiet desert home was invaded, the night air filled with shouts and the screech of tires. Daniel grabbed Luna's hand and they ran. The chase was on, a desperate flight for survival. They were outmatched, outgunned, but they had one advantage. Daniel knew this land like the back of his hand. Section 6. Through fire and water. In a world where the elements conspired against them, Daniel and Luna found themselves in a relentless race for survival. They raced through the desert, the engine of Daniel's truck roaring its defiance. The sun blazed overhead, casting long shadows across the alien terrain, but Daniel's focus never wavered. They dodged roadblocks, disappeared into canyons, their pursuers always hot on their trail. The narrow canyons provided a brief respite, but the danger was never far behind. They faced every challenge head-on, their determination fueled by fear and hope. Each obstacle was a test of their resolve, a testament to their will to survive. Daniel never gave up, never faltered. His eyes were fixed on the horizon, his mind racing with thoughts of escape and safety. He pushed himself and the truck to their limits, his only thought to keep Luna safe. The rough terrain tested their endurance, but Daniel's determination was unyielding. He knew he couldn't outrun them forever, but he would buy them as much time as he could. Every second counted, every mile put more distance between them and their relentless pursuers. The night before, they had meticulously planned their escape. Luna had mapped out the safest route, while Daniel prepared the truck for the grueling journey ahead. Luna's eyes were filled with worry, but Daniel's reassuring words gave her strength. "We'll make it through this," he had promised, his voice steady and confident. As they drove through the desert, a sudden sandstorm erupted, reducing visibility to almost nothing. The wind howled and the sand stung their faces, but they pressed on. The truck's headlights cut through the storm, a beacon of hope in the swirling chaos. Daniel's grip on the steering wheel tightened, his determination unwavering. Luna navigated with intense focus, her eyes darting between the map and the road ahead. Their teamwork was seamless, each move calculated and precise. Finally, they emerged from the storm, the clear skies ahead, a welcome sight. A sense of relief washed over them, but they knew the journey was far from over. Daniel and Luna shared a determined look, their resolve renewed. They were ready for whatever came next, united in their fight for survival. The truck sped into the distance, the vast desert landscape stretching out before them. Their journey was far from over, but they were prepared to face whatever lay ahead together. Section 7. Sanctuary found momentarily. Deep in the heart of the desert, hidden amongst towering rock formations, lay an abandoned mine. Daniel's grandfather had told him stories, legends of lost gold and forgotten dreams. It was their only hope. They found shelter in the cool darkness, the silence a welcome respite from the chaos. They were safe for now. But Daniel knew their pursuers wouldn't give up easily. They needed a plan, a way out. Section 8. Betrayal cuts deep. The betrayal came from an unexpected source. The old prospector, the one Daniel had trusted to get them help, had sold them out. He had lured them into a trap, blinded by the promise of reward. The agents were closing in, their voices echoing through the mine shaft. Despair threatened to consume them, but Daniel refused to give in. He wouldn't let Luna become another victim of greed and fear. Section 9. A desperate gamble. There was only one way out, a narrow shaft that led to the surface. The walls were jagged, and the air was thick with dust, making every breath a struggle. The dim lighting cast eerie shadows, adding to the sense of impending doom. The shaft seemed to stretch endlessly upwards, a daunting climb that would test their endurance and willpower. It was a long shot, a desperate gamble, but it was their only hope. The odds were stacked against them, and the margin for error was razor thin. They had no choice but to take the risk. The alternative was unthinkable. Capture, or worse. The tension was palpable as they exchanged a determined glance, silently agreeing to the perilous plan. Daniel looked into Luna's eyes, saw the fear reflected in them, and knew he had to act. Her usually calm demeanor was now replaced with a look of sheer terror. He could feel the weight of responsibility pressing down on him. He had to be strong for both of them. The bond they shared was unspoken but powerful. Forged in the crucible of countless battles and narrow escapes, he boosted her up, urging her to climb. His muscles strained as he pushed her higher, every ounce of his strength focused on getting her to safety. Luna's hands scrambled for purchase on the slick, uneven rocks. She hesitated for a moment, looking back at him, but he urged her on with a nod and a reassuring smile. "Go, Luna, you can do this," he whispered, his voice filled with a mix of hope and desperation. He promised to follow, his voice echoing in the darkness. "I'll be right behind you," he called out, the words bouncing off the cavern walls. The sounds seemed to linger, a haunting reminder of the uncertainty that lay ahead. He watched as Luna disappeared into the shadows above, her form becoming a silhouette against the faint light filtering down from the surface. He prayed that she would make it, prayed that he would see her again. His heart pounded in his chest, each beat a silent plea for her safety. He closed his eyes for a brief moment, sending a fervent prayer to whatever higher power might be listening. The cave seemed to hold its breath, the silence almost deafening in its intensity. He clung to the hope that their bond would see them through this trial. Then he turned to face their pursuers. The sound of footsteps echoed ominously from the depths of the tunnel, growing louder with each passing second. He squared his shoulders, steeling himself for the confrontation. There was no turning back now. He had to buy Luna the time she needed to escape. With a deep breath, he prepared to face whatever came next, his resolve unshakable. The fate of their mission, and perhaps their very lives, hung in the balance. Section 10. A new dawn, a promise kept. Luna emerged into the blinding sunlight, gasping for air. The harsh rays of the sun were almost too much to bear after the darkness she had endured. She squinted, trying to adjust her eyes to the overwhelming brightness, feeling the warmth on her skin for the first time in what felt like an eternity. She was safe, but alone. The vast, empty desert stretched out before her, an endless sea of sand and heat. The silence was deafening, broken only by the sound of her own breathing. She turned in every direction, searching for any sign of life, any indication that she was not truly alone in this desolate place. She searched the horizon, her heart pounding with a mixture of fear and hope. Each step she took was heavy with uncertainty, but she knew she had to keep moving. The memories of the past few days were a blur of chaos and struggle, but she clung to the promise that had been made. She had to believe that she would find him, that they would find each other. She saw him then, silhouetted against the rising sun. Her heart skipped a beat as she recognized his familiar form, standing tall despite the odds. The sight of him filled her with a renewed sense of purpose and determination. She quickened her pace, her eyes never leaving his figure. He was bruised, battered, but alive. The journey had taken its toll on him, but his spirit remained unbroken. His face was a testament to the trials he had faced, yet his eyes shone with a fierce resolve. He had fought through the darkness, just as he had promised he would. He had kept his promise. As they drew closer, the weight of their shared experiences seemed to lift, replaced by a profound sense of relief and gratitude. They had both endured so much, but they had made it through together. They embraced the vastness of the desert, a testament to their ordeal, their bond unbreakable. In that moment, the barren landscape around them seemed to fade away, leaving only the two of them and the strength of their connection. They held each other tightly, drawing comfort and strength from their shared presence. They had survived, and in the face of adversity they had found hope, a new dawn, for both of them. As they walked into the sunrise, hand in hand, they knew that the future held many challenges, but they were ready to face them together. The promise that had brought them through the darkness would now guide them into the light, a beacon of hope and resilience in an uncertain world.